We are the true masters of the Earth sphere. Hey, everybody. We're back again to Two Def Podcast, episode 18. It's your boy Sleepwalker, the Dream Talker, the Hot Stepper, and the Lyrical Gangster. Unfortunately, we are not joined by my compadre, Jonathan Walters, aka J Poet. He wasn't feeling the mojo today, but we did bring our other reoccurring guest and good friend of the show, Matt Walters. Go ahead and say hi.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Good to be here.
Yeah,
It's unfortunate. I don't know, personal stuff going on. Not really my business, but
he's not sick or
we'll,
anything like that, but
yeah,
he's not
yeah, I don't
feeling
think
it,
so.
and
But
it's better, and you don't want to be on a podcast if you're not feeling it, man, because you're just gonna
no,
bring that
exactly.
energy to the show, and yeah, you don't want to do that, anyways, though. But John didn't want to do that, but he let us come here, and plus today we're talking about fighting games, and that's something me and Matt have a little bit of a specialty in. So we'll be doing that today, but we'll start off the show how we usually start off at asking, "What have you been playing?" And basically, I'll go ahead and start off. I've been playing Niho 2, the what's it called, the DLC, where you basically have to fight increasingly harder bullshit challenges, and I've enjoyed it. It's all right. And I'll take as an extra note, me and Kia have been watching Death Note, the anime.
Oh, nice. That's
Yeah,
awesome, man. Heck yeah, that's a good anime.
yeah,
Like one of my favorites.
yeah. I know.
Um,
I forgot, like, and I didn't mean to go. I forgot how hardcore Light went before the big change up and everything. But still, that the
yeah,
earlier half is just gold. But go ahead.
yeah. Well, in all honesty, man, I haven't really been playing a whole lot of stuff in the past couple of days. I've been kind of more watching shows and stuff like that. I did kind of jump back into a game series that I like because the obvious news about Cyberpunk getting delayed again, which
I
pretty
know.
sucky. But I started playing. It is a game called Shadowrun. It's an old school tactical RPG game on the PC. Started getting back into that. It's pretty fun. It's kind of
Uh,
the same kind of feel, like Cyberpunk kind of feel.
Except you got the
So
whole tactical RPG thing, which is its own thing.
yeah,
I
it's
really
like
like it.
Cyberpunk, but there's elves and dwarves and stuff.
Elves and Taurs. What do you mean, like in like
Yeah,
the future?
it's like it's like a futuristic take on D&D. It's like elves and orcs and shit exist, but it's like in a corporate run dystopian future where like you like work for corporations to get information on other corporations, like corporate espionage basically.
That
It's
should
really cool.
sound
Like very
that's
nerdy stuff,
that
but
sounds insane, and I love it. But
yeah.
you know, there's what's it called? What's the next big game coming out? It's Watch Dogs, isn't it? This coming up this 30th on the Friday. It's
Is it the new one?
yeah, Watch Dogs Legion's coming out. And I'm not gonna lie to you, the roguelike element that they add, honestly, I can't say that I don't want to try it. And if Cyberpunk's not coming out, I'm gonna actually have time to play it until before Cyberpunk comes out and completely just pitches it out of the water. And plus the PS5 will be launching. Did it get pushed back? Or will it still be launching on
What's that now?
November 12th or something like that?
The PS5. No, I don't think it got pushed back. No, I don't think so.
All right
I
then.
think
Well,
it's everything's go ahead with that. Yeah.
yeah. So the Xbox and the PS will be launching that month. So that's gonna be a lot of stuff in
Yeah.
that month. I'm gonna enjoy that. But today we have come here to discuss the ritual of combat. You ready about that, Matt?
I was born ready.
I hope you are,
Um yeah.
because you'll be
So yeah,
attacked at
I was
birth.
actually really excited about this. There's
Oh,
actually, this one of my favorite uh, gaming franchise or gaming genres. So
yeah. I
I've
mean, I've been playing
been
this
wanting
since
to
I
nerd
was
out and
young.
talk about it.
I've been playing fighters since I was real young, and I used to play. I play this guy we both know. His name's Dave. He called himself I Win Again Online. I think he's KO Killer now, but he was basically unbeatable at fighters most of the time,
Uh,
and that's what got me
yeah,
good at fighters. Trying to beat this one.
I remember that. I remember that, man. Yeah, like you guys are the ones that kind of got me into it, honestly. But yeah, he was the one. Like, yeah, he was basically just like the Master Roshi of fighting game. I don't know how to describe it. Like just
Like he's like
OG.
the
Like you're not
Shadow
gonna beat him.
Walker of the fighting games, bro. Like you can cut his hand off and he'll still be doing combos. It's ridiculous. Anyways,
Yeah.
we're gonna go in on this and we're gonna start with our first tier list. With our tier lists being champion, the top, contender, mere mortal, and butt trash. That will be our categories. And hopefully some fighters will escape, well, the butt trash. We're not going to just start throwing them in there. But we start with our first one, and that is Street Fighter. Let me find it down here because I think it's the old Street Fighter, isn't it?
Oh, I see. It's right down there. I
Oh
see
yeah,
it.
Street Fighter 5. All right.
Yeah, it's the
Now,
new one.
Street Fighter, I'm going to go ahead and say, like, I wanted to put this a contender at first, but when I think about how many Street Fighter games I've enjoyed, from 2 Turbo, Alpha, Randall Flag, what's up, man? He said
Yeah,
our
yeah.
microphone.
I'm using my crappy phone. Thanks,
See, our
thanks,
microphone's equal
Randy.
butt trash. Thanks, Randy. That's great. I don't
Oh
know. I
God.
can raise it up all the way. But either way,
I'm trying.
I would say that Alpha and Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter 5. Um, what up, Randy? Street Fighter 5. Even though Street Fighter 5 had a lot of problems when it came out, and it came out at like one of those like it almost wasn't a full game. Like it came out like with
Yeah.
16 characters and
No,
all. It was
yeah. That's what kind of really pissed me off about the franchise
yeah, but
so
even with
far,
that,
anyways.
I would put Street Fighter at a champion tier. How about you, Matt?
Well, yeah. I mean, you have to take into consideration like it is the king of like the king of the 2D fighting game. Like that, it really started the genre. Honestly, like just given that alone, and I mean, come on, Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 3, all the Alpha games,
Yeah,
like it has tons of just solid, like basically like almost all other fighting games, like uh, they based their selves off of that game. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
and it was the
it
first
has to
fighter.
be exactly. Yeah. So to me, it has to go in champion. I mean, they did have some crappy games, but overall as a franchise, I think their best games outshine their worst games
Yeah,
for
I
like
would
for sure.
agree. I would agree with that too. And if anybody in chat thinks differently, go ahead and put us in there. It may sway us. I'm not gonna guarantee anything. I'm gonna say that most likely it's not, but it might. So give it a try. Who knows? Anyways, Mortal Kombat, our next one. Now, Mortal Kombat has a bit of a different position because as good as the last three ones were, there's a mountain of butt trash that they just heaped on us from 3 on. But it was just like just crap after crap after crap. Like, I mean, Deadly
Yeah.
Alliance, I enjoy Deadly Alliance, dude. Don't get me wrong, but even after, I'd say after playing it for a while, you just start to see all the flaws.
What was the really crappy one that like I think it was after Deadly Alliance,
Oh, you mean
and it was
Arm?
like you can make your own fatalities. So like you didn't have any good like no one had fatalities. It was just like
Yeah,
a
you got to make
bullshit
your own.
like push buttons to rip off their arms. It was like yeah, that one was just that definitely deserves like. Is there a tier below butt trash? Can you scroll that down? I don't
Well,
think
that
like
one,
like
that one
the pits of
game.
fucking hell. Like
Yeah, that one and the Mortal Kombat. Was it Mortal Kombat from 360 was shit though. Like
oh, I
was
think he's talking
was
about
the shit
nine.
though. Was the
Yeah,
shit though.
nine was
Well,
dope,
not.
dude.
That's what I'm saying. Nine
Like
on like 9, 10, and 11 are actually really good, and they did a lot to change them. But like before then, it was a lot of butt trash. But I think 9, 10, and 11 and 2 and 3 hold it up enough
oh yeah, for sure.
so that
Yeah,
it
like
can at least be in contender. How do you
yeah,
feel?
I don't. It's hard for me because for me it's teetering on that line between champion and contender, just because of just like yeah, like they had a really bad time. Like now, they would be a champion of the fighting industry, but
Yeah.
like I don't know, man. I might actually have to go with it and say it's a champion
You might have to
in
go
my
say with
vote.
the champion, man. Though then you
Yeah,
guys it's
just
tie.
because, man,
That leaves us
and
at a
because of just
tie. Because
and yeah,
John's not
I don't
here.
know.
I don't know. Like I tell you what, we'll go ahead and we'll put it at champion because I think it's made enough games to deserve that. If chat happens to think we get enough in chat happens to think it's something different, we could change it. But for now, it could stay in
I
champion.
agree with Randall what he just said. Yeah, like just for it broke the grounds of what the games were doing at the time.
It's true. It was
Like
the first game.
It broke the mold for like violence in video games too. You
Yeah,
know.
and it was the first game to really, put forth that kind of graphicness and do the digitized graphics. So I give it champion. I'll agree with him. I'll give it
Yeah.
champion. All right, now we're going to our next game, Killer Instinct. Killer Instinct is one of those old favorites that fell off for a long time, and then when it came back, it just didn't come back very hard. It just
Yeah, I agree.
it did. If like I want to put it in the contender, but honestly, I think with the disappointment of the comeback and its long hiatus, I got to make it a mere mortal.
Yeah, oof, that's a tough one, man. I wish we like had another. I don't know. It's hard when you have four, but yeah, I would say Mere Mortal. I almost want to put it contender, but it's just it's yeah, it's one of those nostalgic favorites. But I mean, if you really look at like the new one, man, it kind of suffered from the same thing that
Street Fighter.
um Mortal Kombat did, where or no, Street Fighter. You're right, Street Fighter, where it was released with no content and you had to
Yeah.
pay for everything,
And now I
or
would
wait
say
a couple
that
years.
now it has like enough content. It's actually added a lot of. They added like what's it Pimple from like what's his name Rash from
Oh
Battletoads.
yeah, they had Rash. Yeah, they had a bunch, dude. The new one's got it's got the Arbiter, from Halo. It's got
Hold on, what game you
I
talking
think
about,
General Rom.
Randall? Yeah, but I'd say it's a mere mortal. I'm fearing a mere mortal here.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I'll agree
Yeah,
with that.
I say it is fallen
I'd
to
put it
mere
in
mortal.
there.
I don't know what Randall's talking about. He says it looks like a chess game for the 64. Oh, you talking about Clay Fighter? Oh, dude, we'll get to Clay
Yeah, we'll get to
Fighter.
that.
We'll get to Clay Fighter. All right. Next on the list, King of Fighters. King of Fighters, honestly, has had a pretty proud tradition, even though it kind of dipped there because it didn't want to change its graphics. But once it did, and then took on those newer, slick, more anime art drawn graphics, and then its latest one went 3D. And I'm not gonna be real with you, it's not. It wasn't bad. It was actually gave you more content than the regular fighters do now because it gave you the classic content. You got there and you had your verses, you had your survival, and you had your team battle, and you had your online, and it just gave you more than the regular fighters do give you now, or at least most of them. So honestly, I would put King of Fighters. Let's say I'd put that at least in the contender, lowest contender at the highest champion.
Yeah, yeah. I'd have to agree with that. I've played quite a bit of the King of Fighter games, but what I've found out is like they were kind of like the hardcore version of like Street Fighter. Like for me at least, like the combo system and like the special move, like the inputs to do the commands were like way more like you had to be on point in order to do them. But I mean, they held up. I want to say there aren't they? Isn't King of Fighters like one of the top like tournament games in like Japan?
Yeah, King of
Like,
Fighters is real big in Japan. I remember when
yeah, it's
Sakurai
huge
was
there. I
talking.
don't think it has as big as a following in America and Europe,
Nah,
but
because
just as
it's
far as
based,
just
it's made off like Fatal Fury and Art of
mhm.
Fighting and all those characters and stuff like that, and then even some Sam Show characters sometimes, and they put them all like in there, and it's really cool. But I don't think it caught on as much as Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. So I would say it's a contender.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree with that. I think Contenders is a fairest place to put the. I mean, the whole series is great. So
Yeah, it's not. There's not a bad game amongst it. So I would
yeah,
say that King of Fighters going to contender. Now, Samurai Showdown, Sam Show. I love Samurai Showdown when I was young. Um, I would say that I couldn't really put it even in the contender pile because it just didn't change. Like it just stayed the
Yeah,
same. Even the newest one, it plays like the old ass one. And that one isn't like, like amazing. It was good for its time, but if the new one's playing like the old one, just so it could take more of a throwback to, the original fighters where it's more about the specials and the ground game instead of the combos and shit like that. Like, I get that, but I don't know. I'd say it's Samurai Showdown's a mere mortal.
yeah, that's where I put it, man. I don't know. I honestly didn't really play it a whole lot. I played I think the original one a
Mm-hmm.
little bit. I haven't got to play the new one. I played the second one, I think. Um, but it was one of those games is like was kind of was similar with King of Fighters, where like the combos were very strange to do. Like it was like harder for me to do because I was used to Street Fighter, you know. But all in all, like it was a solid fighting game. You know, like it wasn't. There's some other games on this list that.
Yeah. Well,
uh,
Randall, the game
but
Samurai Showdown was actually called Samurai Spirits in in Japan. It's Samurai Showdown in America. Although it did sound like everybody wanted to go home early because it was like, well, they just have the samurais fight each other. It's a showdown. You got it, Larry. We're going home. Like,
like
but
it's got samurais. They're what are they? What are they going to fight each other like a showdown? All right, pack it up.
but yeah, I think Samurai Showdown, mere mortal. It's a
Yeah, I would totally agree.
mere mortal game, not butt trash. It saves its own. Yeah, Samurai Spirits does sound infinitely better. There's a lot of things from Japan to America. They just arbitrarily changed for because I guess they felt like it wouldn't play well in America or something like that. But
Yeah,
well, it's stupid because a lot of the Japanese names are going to sound cool in America because they don't sound normal. They sound cool and foreign. Like most fighting games. Anyways, we're going to Tekken. Tekken the big boy. Now, I mean, I think Tekken honestly is a champ, man. Like because like is if you play Tekken 1 and 2 right now, you're going to have a bad time. But at the time it came out, you were really enjoying yourself. And at the evolution of 3, not really 4, 5 and 6 and not really 7, I think Tekken is one of those games that kind of stands the test of time, man.
yeah. I mean, I'll tell you what, I could play Tekken 3 right now and have a ball, like have a blast. That was like one of my favorite games when I was a kid, and I had the original PlayStation. That was like my go-to. They had like a beat 'em up mode. Like
Yeah.
it's yeah, I don't
They
even know,
had
man.
Tekken, what's it called? Tekken Force mode, which they had in every one except
Yeah,
7, which I guess they just took it out because whatever. Like, and 6 was the
yeah.
whole
7 really
story
didn't
mode.
need it.
6 was the
Seven's really good.
7. I don't like 7, bro. I'm gonna be real with you, man. 7,
Really?
like
Oh
I
man, I
like
liked it.
as far as a fighter, it's still solid, but it's just the fact that like it's lost the luster that Tekken used to have. Like I used to be able to have some single player options and stuff like that, and it doesn't really have a lot of that in Tekken 7. Although I do like Geese Howard and Akuma. Like I think they're both
Oh
dope.
yeah,
I think that's dope as hell. But at the same time, I don't know, man. Tekken 7 was a letdown for me. I really wish it was better.
yeah. I don't know. None of them are as good as 3. Like, I'm sorry, dude.
Is that how I feel
But
about Alpha
yeah, I would
3?
definitely put that. I would have to put that as far as, especially when you take into consideration like 3D fighting games on the list. Like it was kind of one of the original 3D fighters, and it stood the test of time. It's still like one of the top premier fighting games right now. So
Yeah.
I think it would be disrespectful not to put it as a champion.
Tekken is the king of the Iron Fist. I don't know if Tekken means that, but that's what the Tekken is. It's king of the Iron Fist. So, Tekken's a champ. Now we got Virtual Fighter. And I'm going to say that Virtual Fighter is a champ, and here's why. it got nothing but better from 1 to 6. It just
Mm.
improved. It just improved all the way up. And I think it's a bit of an acquired taste. It's a normal fighting game. It's one of those fighting game that really focuses on what's it called? You just normal fighting, not the crazy dashing and all that crazy and all that anime stuff, but just normal kind of basic human fighting. But at the same time, it does it very well. The graphics are very good, and it's improved over the years to the point where I think Virtual Fighter deserves to be champ. What do you think?
Yeah. For a second, Tekken actually does mean Iron Fist in Japanese. That's
Oh,
why
it
it's
does.
called the King of the Iron Fist tournament. Yeah, I just looked it up because I
Oh,
was curious myself. I was like, what does that mean?
oh
It
shoot.
is like I guess I don't know which syllables there mean what, but it literally translates to Iron Fist. Um, but yeah, as far as Virtua Fighter goes, in my experience playing it, it almost reminded me. It was almost like if Soul Calibur. It's like Soul Calibur,
Hmm.
but without weapons. So you're using like instead of having a weapon style, you use a martial arts style. But I mean, let's be honest, none of these games are really super realistic. But I think out of all of them, that one probably is the most
Yeah,
like
it tries to at
grounded
least.
in to try to seem like these
Because
people are actually just
it
people
has
fighting and not.
it has
Well, I guess until
actual
the
stuff.
end where you fight a like a cyborg. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, it is. It has like normal styles that exist. Like it has your normal kung fu, it has jeet kune do, it has wrestling, sumo, all that stuff, judo. It has all that stuff. So those styles exist. But yeah, you do fight a cyborg named Dural at the end. So
Yeah.
we
Fuck that
can't.
guy.
We It's a girl. It's a girl.
Well, I mean, it's a side. I mean, fuck that thing. I'll say that.
Well, Smash
But
Bros is
yeah,
definitely not realistic because it's got like characters that are literally cartoon
don't
realistic.
fall for it.
Like-
I smell a troll. You smell that? I can smell its feet from a mile away.
oh, troll market in chat.
Oh man.
Bloody
Shit.
roar, bloody roar.
Is that next? Is that what's next on the
Yeah,
list?
yeah, bloody
Oh
roar.
man.
I'm gonna be saying this is probably the first game that gets butt trash because bloody roar 1 and 2 started out pretty good, but then it just. Hey, what up, Alex? What's good, man? Nice to see you in
Hey,
chat.
hey, hey. As a matter of fact, Alex, I just took a shower right before I started, so
Yeah,
you can rest easy, buddy. I can't
us.
speak for my co-host here, but
Oh well, I took a shower, like earlier. Now, I'm not taking like
there you
three.
go.
I'm not taking three of them. Like I'm good. Anyway, we're talking about Bloody Roar now. Bloody Roar may be the first butt trash game we talking about because Bloody Roar 1 and 2
Oh,
pretty good
Pete.
ideas. They were good ideas, but dude, after 2, it just spiraled, bruh. It spiraled downward. They just stopped doing special moves. All they was combos. They made the Phoenix that turned into a penguin most of the time. And then the when you did turn into the Phoenix, it was
Oh,
for a limited amount of time, and then he was
dude,
just
I
awful.
remember that now. Yeah, I
He was
always
just
used the chameleon. I forget the guy's name. He was like a punk rock looking dude, and he turned into like a chameleon, and he could use his tongue and shit to attack. I'll say this, I guess you're right about the sequels, but on 1 and 2 alone, this is just my personal opinion. Like when I played them back in the day, they were like some of my favorite fighters back then. I love the whole like that whole like aesthetic, like turning into like you're super instead of just being like a super move, you turn into a new form.
I like that, but
So I
like as it got after 2, you couldn't stay in your monster form you just stayed in it for such a little amount of time. And they started throwing in like mystical things like dragons and stuff, but they didn't execute
yeah.
it well at all, dude. They sucked.
Yeah,
I
well, I'm gonna have this is probably be our first split decision because I had to at least put that as mere mortal,
you say this is
just for the nostalgia purposes. This
uh,
personally me,
like
but I would say mere mortal.
you say mere mortal, I say it's butt trash, but I'll give you mere mortal because I did enjoy the first two. Like I can't say I
All right,
didn't.
thank you.
I
I
can't.
really appreciate that.
You're welcome, man. Dude, like you're my boy. You're my boy,
Thanks,
bruh.
bro.
Yeah, exactly,
That
man.
means a lot to me, man.
Yeah, no, man, I got you, bro. Like, anyways,
We got to stick
Marvel.
together in these hard times, man.
Oh, dude, the hardest of times, bro. Anyway,
Oh yeah,
like Marvel versus Capcom. Now I'm gonna say the only really good Marvel versus Capcom is two. Like, I know everybody loves two, and two is the greatest. But like every other Marvel versus Capcom is really not that great. Like one was fine.
yeah,
Three is a debt letdown. Three Ultimate was a better letdown, and Infinite. Jesus, get out of here with that crap.
yeah, man.
Like,
Ooh, like I couldn't even. I don't even want to talk about Infinite, dude. It's on Game Pass,
well,
and
the
I
thing
downloaded it,
you got to take it as a
and
whole
I played
franchise.
the story mode. I beat the story mode, and
Hmm.
that was the only. And I don't know how I was able to get to the end of it. I love the whole idea of like all these fictional characters.
Hmm.
Like there's a story behind it, but like who did they give the pen and pencil to on that
You
one?
got
Like
Marvel Riders. You 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 got Marvel Riders there, and you didn't get any of them on this.
yeah,
Yeah,
no, they did not use them at all. They used the Capcom writers, obviously. Like
yeah.
oh
Like
god,
almost every Marvel versus Capcom game is shit except for two. And honestly, I know this is like Marvel versus Capcom is honestly butt trash, except for two. Two is not butt
dude.
trash.
One and two were great games.
One
The
and two.
first one was awesome. Two is like takes the cake.
All right, I tell you what.
But
You want to make Marvel a mere mortal? It's still controversial, but
I
you know,
would I would honestly I'd honestly say it's a contender.
you say it's a good thing.
In all honesty,
Are you saying
I mean just
two?
as far as the
Are you saying two is so
like
good?
the whole series as a whole, just because of its acclaim as far as in the fighting game, uh, what do you call it, scene. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's still a lot of people who play Marvel vs. Capcom.
All
Like
right.
three
So,
mostly, I think, at
are
this
you
point,
saying
but
two is so good that it makes up for all the other missteps?
one and two.
One and two. All right.
All
I
right, but let's compromise. We'll do Mere Mortal
is
because
mere
you say butt
mortal
trash, I say contender.
because
So that's
Marvel versus Capcom beats the shit out of Injustice. You know what? Like, if you're talking about two, yeah. If you're talking about like one, and if you're talking about three and four, get out of here with that shit. Like,
And I mean,
like
I think you have to also add in like X-Men versus Street Fighter and Marvel superheroes
yeah,
and
that. But those
maybe
aren't
not
like
Marvel
those
superheroes,
are a little different. Those aren't exactly
but
because
they still use
because if you
the same graphics, like the
it
same
is true,
sprites
but
and
it's
everything.
like a straight up Marvel versus Capcom is like a little bit different from those titles because those were like throwaways for Street Fighter. Because all they did was fight Street Fighter after that. Or they did, X-Men Children of the Atom and stuff like that. But this was straight up
Yeah.
Marvel versus Capcom. It was a little bit different of a franchise. And I would say two is good enough. You know what? I think two is good enough that it gets contender. Like it's that
Okay.
good.
All right.
It's that good. Two is that good. Now
Oh
in
yeah.
but
I want to
Injustice.
take you for a ride.
Dun, dun, dun,
Dun, dun, dun, dun,
dun,
dun, dun, dun. I'm
dun,
gonna take you for a
dun, dun, dun,
ride.
dun, dun, dun. No. All right,
Like
Soul.
I'm thinking about stealing that the Halloween outfit idea from the internet where the guy went as the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 character select screen.
That's dope. That's
Just
dope
have like a
right
little
here.
speaker that plays that song like
Yeah.
on repeat.
All right, so the next one, Soul Calibur. Now, Soul
Ooh,
Calibur 2, well, okay, Soul Calibur, Soul Blade, Soul Calibur 1, Soul Calibur 3, and Soul Calibur 4 were all very good games. 5 was a fucking letdown. 6,
don't talk about 5. We
6,
promised we wouldn't talk about 5.
all right, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bring it up. Now, 6 is such a step up from 5, but it also it's just not as good as 3. But I think Soul Calibur, I think contender. I think the missteps cannot be
Ooh.
overlooked. It cannot be overlooked, but their highs are very high. Their highs are very high. So I'd give it contender.
Yeah, I don't. It's a rough one for me, man. Because, in all honesty, like probably my favorite fighting game series of all time, like as far as just ones that I have the most fun with, is Soul Calibur. Specifically, Soul Calibur 2, 3, and 4, and in all honesty, 6. I really enjoy it.
Really?
It's definitely not as good as 3 or 4, but um, like I have to put that as champion. That's
Have to
just
put his
like
champion.
I have to.
You think and champion for sure. All right, because I'm a Soul Calibur fan, dude. I played every single one, and I was so disappointed in 5 and 6 that it just kind of killed me because I don't wanted to play 6, but it doesn't give me a reason to go back. Not like 3 and 4 did, like so.
Yeah,
It just doesn't give me a reason to go back. But I'll give it a champion. Soul Calibur 3 is probably my favorite fighting game of all time. Like so,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like it's just so well made, dude. Like I don't know how to describe it.
yeah,
I've
I have
very
to.
solid game.
I have to admit, but the reason why we take it as a franchise is because all these games get to be compared with themselves as well as compared to other fighting games. So if you make one super good game and then like 5 crap games, you can't say that's a good franchise. You just can't. You get, that one is brought down by the others.
Randy's killing me over here, dude. Man, born of destiny, a sword forged in despair.
A story,
A song of heroes, heroes and champions,
a story
untold. Like,
eternally retold.
like what? I just noticed something too. We were talking about Virtua Fighter, right? Did we ever decide on what we were gonna where we're
Then
gonna
I
put
put
that?
Virtua Fighter up there in the champion.
I don't. I still see it down
My
there at the
bad.
bottom.
I'm slipping. Virtua Fighter up in the
No,
champion.
it's all good.
All right, Guilty Gear. Now, I don't see why that's not a champion. I think I've never played a bad one.
Guilty Gear.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. Like I knew this was gonna come. We're gonna get to these. What is the company
Arc
called that makes all
Systems,
those games, man?
Arc System
Arc
Fighters.
Systems. I knew we were gonna get to these Arc System games, and I kind of had a feeling we were all just gonna be like, yeah, these games are
They're,
the tits.
they're top
Yeah, like
tier as far as anime fighters, as far as 2D fighters. Arc System games are they're just top
I
tier.
mean, as far as story modes go, like I would rather scrape my eyes out with a rusty spoon, but um, like God, I have to agree. Like I've never played a bad Guilty Gear game, dude. Like the cast of characters is awesome. The fighting system is like it gets better every time. I think there might have been one they made that was kind of weird. I didn't really get into. It was
No,
like
they made
I think it was like a
Guilty.
beat 'em up or
It
something.
was
It
a
wasn't
beat.
even a fighting game.
It was an Xbox exclusive. It was Guilty Gear. Like I think it was just straight up two, and like they had a beat 'em up. It wasn't well done at all. But that doesn't hold it back because it like pretty much every other Guilty Gear is freaking amazing. So after that is Blaze
Yeah.
Blue, and let's be real, Blaze Blue once again another fucking champion game.
Oh, for sure, dude. Yeah, yeah, it goes almost unfair. Like I don't know. A
Like
part of me almost wants to just like I don't know. I have to go with my gut here, dude. Yeah, like Guilty Gear is awesome. Blaze Blue, I like Blaze Blue more than Guilty Gear,
yeah,
honestly.
well they have a
It
lot of
has the
options and
worst
extra
story
shit to
modes,
do.
but
Yeah, the story
it's
like
like the
this.
better the fighting game, it's like the worse. The
Yeah,
worse the story is.
because that's one thing I'll say about Arc Systems. They have some of the worst story modes I've ever had to sit through. I've never finished one. They're all crap. Like they're just awful. But the fighting,
I mean,
the
yeah,
fighting is
it's
just
like a visual novel. It's like a really shitty Japanese light visual novel
yeah,
with a little bit peppering in of like easy as pie fights. Like I
yeah.
don't know.
It's the anime you never really wanted to watch, but they're forcing you to
Yeah,
do it. The next is Dragon Ball Fighters, and let's be real. Once again, Dragon Ball Fighters is almost the perfect adaptation in a fighting game. I can't think of any other fighting game that adapts its source material as accurately and as well done as Dragon Ball Fighters.
yeah. No, no, I totally agree. Like that's the fighting game I'm still playing right now. Like
Yeah,
um, it's really awesome. I mean, I'm a huge Dragon Ball Z fan. So it's got like a soft spot in my heart for it.
yeah.
Close place near my heart.
Now the one thing I would say is
Especially with like they're still. When did that game come out? Like last year was it, or was it 2018?
I think it may have came out like early last year or at least early this year. I can't even think of it.
Yeah, no, it came out. It definitely came out last year.
Yeah,
Because it's been out for a long time, and they have just only all they've done is like
Mm,
improve
yeah.
on their system, and it does have the DLC fighters, but like it's generally inexpensive,
Hmm.
like if you want to get all the characters,
Yeah.
which kind of sucks. But
But still, like, it's pretty good because when it
still, like,
started, like some of the characters felt like they couldn't really stand alone, but they've tweaked it and improved it so much that it's damn near perfect.
yeah.
Now I hear you saying Budokai out there. Budokai is garbage, dude. Like that's nostalgia.
Oh
That's nostalgia talking, bro.
no,
Budokai is trash. Nah,
man, no.
like,
Budokai
it's
3 was the shit, bro. What are you
it's
talking about,
hot trash, bro. As a fighting game,
dude?
it's like
No, it's great.
it's like Naruto Ninja Storm bad, dog. Like like it's hot trash, bro. Budokai is nostalgia. That's what it is. Budokai is nostalgia. Which you when you think of Budokai, you're thinking of the fun times you had playing the only Dragon Ball Z fighter you've ever been given. Like
Yeah.
like
No,
you've
man, it was
ever been
great.
given, like like, like because let's be real, dog, they're not good.
Trigger.
They're not good. Anyways,
Dude, 3, you can like in Budokai 3, you could like they had the story mode and you could actually fly around like the world and collect Dragon Balls. It was awesome, dude.
and then get in like
Ah.
overgeneralized bullshit fights that have no motherfucking like defense and like,
I was gonna suggest that for this list too.
what?
Budokai.
Budokai?
I'm
Oh,
glad I
dude, I
didn't.
would have trashed that shit, dude. Get that bullshit out of here.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh god.
anyways, Capcom versus SNK. Now they had two of these games, and they actually had three of these games, but the third one only was at the arcade, and you can get it on the computer, but it wasn't. It was SVC Chaos, which was probably like it's probably the weirdest of these two because the first one was SNK versus Street Capcom. The second one was Capcom versus SNK. The second one is the good one. The first one
Yeah.
is like and the third one is all right, but it didn't really come out everywhere. You didn't really get to play that. So like, I don't know. I really like the second one though. It's really good. But I feel like
That's the one that I played. I think it was on PS2, wasn't it?
uh,
Capcom versus SNK2.
Capcom, yeah, it was Capcom versus SK2. That was the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
that game was pretty solid, man. I really enjoyed it.
had a lot of
I would
characters.
still like I don't know. If I'm not mistaken, isn't it like a three like you pick three people on your team? It's kind of plays like King of
Yeah,
Fighters kind of, right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Except
see
yeah, it's
yeah,
Capcom.
it was awesome.
Yeah, I would
And the
say
artwork for the game was incredible, as far as like the cover art and stuff.
I would
But
say that
I'd have to put that as contender, me
contender.
personally.
You think two alone because
Yeah.
the other two aren't really. But yeah, because SVC Chaos isn't bad. It's just you probably never heard of it. So
I mean, if you're gonna put King of Fighters up there, I would say
all right,
that's as good or as
I can
bad
feel
as
that.
any other King of Fighters.
I can feel that.
Yeah.
I can feel that. It could be a contender. All right, next where we at? Injustice. Now, Injustice 1, not as much my jam, even though I liked it, but Injustice 2 was fucking hardcore good. Like, Injustice 2 is
Yeah.
really good. And it has a shit ton of characters. And it has the Ninja Turtles and Hellboy. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't
It
know.
yeah, I'll be honest with you. As far as stories and fighting games go, uh, the Injustice series really has like the best, in my opinion. Like great writers from DC who like stepped up to do these storylines. It's yeah, it's really good. But I'd still have to put that probably as contender.
Contender?
Um,
I
yeah,
think I think one brings it down enough because one was the one that needed a lot of help. And the tier list is top heavy because I mean, dude, these are good fighters. And plus we choose a lot of fighters that people would kind of know. Because I could have put like Waku Waku 7 on this motherfucker. Like like Rage of the Dragons,
You-
Match or Melee, Azuna
I'll be
Encounter.
honest. I I think we
Like
kind of made a mistake going about this because what we should have done is randomized the list because
yeah.
it seems like we're just reading from top from bottom. So we
Pretty
picked all
much.
the best ones first,
Yeah,
and
so because all the
and
bad
then
ones are at the bottom.
Yeah, so it's gonna be like okay, and then the last row is just gonna be filled with butt trash.
Yeah, it's just
Like,
utter butt trash for the last couple. And like honestly, like a lot of these fighting franchises have been pretty good and have remained pretty good. And hold on, was it seemed to me Justice had fantastic writing and graphics, but the fighting aspect was kind of cut and paste from other fighters. Nothing groundbreaking there. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Honestly, that Injustice and Mortal Kombat have the kind of fighting style in them that feels old and archaic and chunky, and it doesn't really appeal to me. But they have such good presentation that it
oh
kind of
yeah,
carries their games. But yeah, contender. We get a contender there now. Super Smash Brothers. Let's be like, do we even need to discuss that?
yeah. I don't. I mean, we should. We
Like,
should because it's
we should.
because I mean, like, the numbers don't lie. Like it is. I mean, I think we discussed this in the last podcast, I believe. Like,
Yeah, like
it is like blows all fighting games out of the water as far as sales and fandom, and I mean, it made its own genre of fighting. Like it's like a fighting subgenre that's it's
yeah,
just awesome.
yeah, I
Like the
know.
party fighting games, like
And plus, there's never been a fighter with more characters except Tobal number two, and that
yeah,
had
you told me
over
about that game, and
has over a
yeah,
hundred characters. But I think Smash has near. It's near, but it's like 70. It's 80 something or something like that. But it's like Smash is like up there, dude. Like nobody gives you more quality, more quantity, and more fun than Smash
yeah.
Brothers. So honestly, it's
And the
probably
game modes are dope. And then you have so many, you have such like a wide variety of ways you can play. You can make your own rules. You can make it insane. You can straight up just do 101 with no items, or you can go like bonkers and like make everybody big and like I don't know, just it's insane. If
yeah,
like yeah, it's like if Mario, it's exactly what would happen if Nintendo made a fighting game. It's like and that's what it is.
yeah,
Like
pretty
fantastic.
much. So I that's obviously that's an easy champion. Now, Def Jam Vendetta. That's a strange one because you see, Def Jam Vendetta. I no, I'm saying Def Jam Vendetta. There's more than Def Jam Vendetta. There's three Def Jams. Number one kind of started it off, but it needed a lot of working, and Vendetta gave it that work. But the one after it, Icon or whatever that came out on like the PlayStation 3 was garbage. And number and
Yeah,
like
that's what I
and
heard.
honestly, Def Jam in itself, I would love to see a revival of it. But as it stands right now, that it's a mere mortal because Def Jam Vendetta was pretty good and had a lot of good stuff. But one and the one after it, just they just drag it down.
Yeah, that's one of those games again that I really didn't play a whole lot. I think I played Vendetta a bit with my brother, but I don't really like remember all. It wasn't memorable for me
Yeah,
when I played it. But at the time, I I don't know. I was a different person then. I've been thinking about like trying to like find it somewhere and play it just to try it out.
it's a little
But
old, man. I
yeah,
don't know. Like, and then this is another thing. It's stat based. So if your stats get a little high, and then it's kind of unbalanced to fight with other people. It has that balancing issue.
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Oh
because
yeah,
and that's a big balancing issue. You don't want your fighting game to be. You have to turn off the stats when it comes to versus because if it's not flat stats, then you've got an advantage. That was one thing that Injustice did, but it allowed you to turn it off. But at the same time, when you have a stats advantage, it's just kind of hard to make that up, even if you are a really good fighter. But yeah, this is a mere mortal. This is mere mortal. Now,
yeah, I would agree with that.
yeah, I say that's a mere mortal. Now, the next game, Dead or Alive. Dead or Alive. Now, Dead or Alive is one of the fighting games shouldn't be stat based, at least not improving stats. Yeah, like I don't mind adding stats. Soul Calibur 4 had stats and it had like status effects, and they were good. They were well done, but they never put them in another game, and they allowed you to turn them on
Yeah,
and
it was
off.
weird.
Like they allowed you to turn them on and off. And as long as they allowed you to turn them off, that's fine. I don't really care because it adds a new element to the game to keep the game fresh. Because fighting games have the distinct problem of being very repetitive. Because you're gonna do the same thing over and over again. So it has to throw something different into the the wrench. And honestly, I think it does. That does it enough. It just has to be regulated to where it's
Oh yeah,
mm.
it's like kind of like in what in Soul Calibur 2, I think they had the stat based in that too,
No, they
where
got
you're
rid of
like
that. It was 3 and 1. In two, they
no,
actually
and
didn't
I'm talking
have that.
about in 2. I thought they did. I'm pretty sure they did because you played on like a map and you had like a piece and your guy leveled up and when you did certain battles you would like get level up and get stronger and you would get new weapons that would like change your
No,
stats.
you're
But
talking about
it only applied to the story mode. It didn't apply to anything else. It was
no. That's
only
three.
that little like campaign mode.
That's 1 and 3. Two didn't really do that. Two didn't have stats on their weapons. They just had the cosmetic weapons, but they got rid of the stats from one. No, I think it was one actually. One did that and two added it. My bad. Two did add it and one took it away.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. You were right. Anyways,
Yeah.
back on this, Dead or Alive. Yes, it is a fighting. It actually started as a fighting game. It wasn't a volleyball game at first. And honestly, the volleyball
I just
game
read that.
just did better. Like the volleyball game did numbers, while the fighting game is one of those like it is the epitome of mediocre fighting game. Like,
Yeah, like the one they had on the 360 was pretty fun, but I'm pretty sure what happened with that was like they tried to be a serious fighting game,
hmm
and then they noticed how like most of the fans of the game were really just more fans of big giant anime titties, so
yeah.
they just so they're like, let's make a volleyball game, and then like, oh yeah, all these like fucking
Well,
they're,
cool
people,
story.
but
The what was I saying? Cool story. The maker of Dead or Alive is Totonobu Ibagaki, and he used to make it, and it was a crap game because it didn't really have any balance, and the reversals took off too much life. Well, he got fired for sexual harassment, and then the game started to get balance. And so five was actually pretty decent, but then six literally tried to sell you almost every item in the game. So
yeah, yeah. See, I didn't play the new one. I
yeah,
know it was really disappointing. Or not disappointing. It was really funny because I think it was I think it was DOA 4. I want to say it was 4, the one that was on 360, and it literally had in the options mode you could choose your age, and the higher the age limit got, the bigger their titties would grow. It was just like ridiculous. It was just like what, and you could just
oh
like
Japan.
apparently age has something to do with how much you like titties. I mean, I guess at some point,
It's
I don't know. I don't think that's just was weird, like
well,
very perverted shit, you know.
I would say it's a mere mortal because it was like it's average. It's not like crap, but it's not great. It's the
Yeah, I mean,
epitome of
it's
average.
fun, dude. The 4 was great, dude. They had that drunken master guy. I whooped ass with him, and it was solid game. But yeah, like it doesn't deserve any more than mere mortal.
Yeah, it doesn't serve anymore. Like it's Dead or Alive. I mean, they tried. They tried. Anyways, Clay Fighter. Oh, Clay
Oh
Fighter.
boy, I think
Like
we got to that point now.
yeah, like this is where butt trash starts because Clay Fighter is bad. It's a bad
It's
game,
really bad.
but the one thing they would save it from butt trash to me, only one thing, is it is the first fighting game to have a guest character because Earthworm Jim was in it.
Yeah.
Earthworm Jim, and it was the first one to ever do that. And for that alone, I think it deserves maybe a mirror more, but it's butt trash. It, the
Uh,
game in
you
itself
know,
is utter
it
garbage.
actually had it had cool another guest, Boogerman. You remember that game? Anybody
Yeah,
remember
they did
Boogerman?
have Booger
Yeah,
Man.
he was in it. He was OP in that game. I used him a lot. But no,
Yeah.
that game was trash. That game sucked. So it was really very hard and not well put together at all. Like
Like,
clunky. It's goofy,
yeah,
but
it's not well. It's like randomly you never played it.
I honestly
It's good
like
to.
I
It's
tried to
fun to
replay it
watch.
for
It's
nostalgia purposes, and
yeah.
I beat the first person and I turned it. Like I was doing well. I was just like, nah, man, this
Like
is
it is utter
wow.
trash. Like, but it's not worse than a game that we didn't even put on this list. It's called Balls. The game's called Balls, and everybody is made up of balls, and it is probably the jankiest fighter that's ever existed. And like, you may just fall to pieces in the middle of it. It's horrible. hopefully we'll never have to do that. Fatal
Yeah.
Fury. Fatal Fury. Fatal Fury is basically where, King of Fighters and everything comes from. It's where Terry Bogard comes from. And I enjoy the game. I think it was pretty good. I think the special moves are too hard. But Fatal Fury Mark of the Wolves was like probably one of the better ones of the Fatal Fury. So I don't know. I feel like it could be in contender, but like it's really teeter on mere mortal for me. It's not bad.
Yeah, I would agree. I played I think I played the first one. That's the one with Geese Howard in it, right?
Yeah. Um Geese, yeah, yeah. It has no, it doesn't have Geese Howard in it. It has his son, Rock Howard. It was the first
Oh,
time Rock Howard showed up.
oh, okay. What was it? Was it Garou, Mark of the Wolves? Is that what I'm thinking of? That had him in it. He was the boss. He was like the final boss,
Oh yeah,
and he was
that was
like
like the original Fatal
unfair.
Fury. The original Fatal
Well,
Fury
that's
had
what I'm
Geese
thinking
Howard.
of.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, and he was like the most unfair person in the world.
Oh
Like,
dude, like
screw that guy.
but like I enjoy the games. They just never like hit, maximum for me. I don't know. I feel like it could be a mere moral or like maybe at the bottom of contender.
Well, all these other games that are left on this list, it is definitely leagues above butt trash compared to them. So I'll give it Mere Mortal. Because this is where the fun's really going to start, folks. Oh my God, I'm just looking at these like
Look at
Jesus
this
Christ, dude.
next one, War Gods. Oh my god. Look this piece of shit game right here,
No,
dog.
oh
Like
my
bruh,
God.
the game, the moves don't like actually work. They may work. And if you got to the end of the game, you got to a guy who would jump on the floor and swing his arms, and then you would die. And
Yeah,
that was the boss before the last boss. The last boss had a move where he can grab you from anywhere on the stage. And it wasn't like you had like complicated maneuvers and blocks. No, dude, you move chunkier than chunkier than tuna salad, bro. It's awful. It's probably one of the worst games I've ever played.
yeah,
Like
yeah, dude. I don't know. I'm
like
looking it up right now, and I'm just like, "Are you
did you look
serious?"
it up?
Dude, it got lukewarm reviews. I can't believe it.
It got lukewarm. Well, when it came out, it was like among those violent, edgy games. It was like, oh, we're war gods, but dude, these games, this is trash, dude. This is trash at its most. It is most condensant. Like it is most
Yeah, man.
condensed.
I'm like, I wish you could like, I wish it was just super simple, and you
Uh,
could just insert like the trailer or something, so just to show
dude,
people how
we
fucking
just
terrible
want to
the
go
game
to
is.
YouTube and
Like,
just look up the
oh my God.
trailer for War Gods.
Did you find these last titles at a yard sale? No, unfortunately, I didn't. We did not.
No,
I, I
these
had
were
the grave unfortunate to actually own like most of these titles,
yeah.
most of these remaining titles.
I played it.
I own War God.
Believe it or not,
Why? I don't know.
believe it or not, this one over here, Rage, was pretty big at the time. It's garbage, but a lot of
Yeah.
people liked
See,
it.
see, that's the one. Like, if you would have asked me, you know, like this game came out, I would have been like, no, this game is awesome, but it like does not hold up to the test of time whatsoever. Um,
Yeah,
I thought the coolest part about that is like you're fighting as like basically like kaiju's. You're like giant prehistoric monsters. You fight with like dinosaurs and stuff,
yeah.
and there was like little cavemen and shit running at the bottom of the screen, and you could actually like I can't don't know how you do it, but you could pick up uh uh you could pick up
Like
like the people and eat them to
yeah,
regain their health.
no, that's the other Rage. You're talking about this is Primal Rage,
No,
not
that's primal. That's what I'm talking about. Primal
yeah.
rage. I thought that's what we
No,
were
that's
doing.
normal, just Rage. What you're talking about, Randall, is just Rage. This is Primal Rage. It's different. It's not the
Yeah.
same thing you're talking about. Like
Oh yeah. Yeah. Rage is like a first person shooter.
yeah, like
Yeah.
Rage.
Primal
No,
rage. It
no,
gets
you're
it
talking about the Rage
looks like
where
it's cut off on this picture.
it has the monkey and it has the they had a movie with the Rock and everything like that.
That was Rampage.
Rampage. You're right. Yeah, it is Rampage. Anyways, the next one, Shaq Fu. Shaq Fu is prime. Probably one of the worst fighting games ever made. But check it out. They made a new one, right? And they kickstarted it. And Shaq endorsed it at everyone. He had even a commercial that said, "We ain't gonna food up this time." That's the commercial. Guess what? He fooded up worse than it has ever been. Like Shaq Fu, the new
He did
one.
not say that.
No,
Are
dude,
you
he
serious?
did say that. He said we're not gonna
We ain't gonna
food up.
food up this time.
Yes, he said that. Look up the trailer. He said we're not
Oh
gonna
no.
food up this time.
And then he just ran to like Papa John's headquarters and hid
Oh,
in his
bruh,
office.
it's amazing because the new Shaq Fu 2, is so much worse than the original Shaq Fu, which is like hard.
Like,
Like you have to try to get worse than
I
that.
mean, dude, this came out when Shaq was like the biggest. Like he was on top of the world. I loved Shaq back then. That's why we got the game because I loved
Yeah.
Shaq so much. And I
Well,
lied to myself. I was like, this game is so cool. And it wasn't, dude.
hopefully the hopefully these games work. Like hopefully these moves work sooner or later. That's what you felt like when you played it. Is probably one of the worst games
It's
ever.
like your roster is like an ancient ninja, like dude, like I can't
Is it
even remember the
said
characters.
Shaq
You're
is a
you're fighting like
fucking
actual like combatant warriors, and then you have Shaq, and he's just like in a like Lakers jersey or some shit, like bouncing the ball, and you use a
yeah.
basketball to fight. Like you shoot a basketball at people like a Hadoken.
Yeah, and he's like,
Good
"Oh
job.
yeah, come on, I'm ready to get with you." And I'm like, "Dude, stop this." It's
And he was probably the best character in the game.
and he
Like
managed
he
to
was just
make it his
broken.
he managed to make his second game even worse. So this one actually looks better now. This is a better game now because that one was garbage. But next one we move on to, and our last three, which are all trash.
No, wait, we already did Primal Rage.
Primal Rage. Primal
We
Rage
we got two left.
is trash, dude.
We talked
Primal.
about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we did
Yeah,
talk about it.
you didn't
It's a bunch of dinosaurs
you
fighting each
didn't
other.
put it in the and you didn't put it in the tier list.
Yeah, it's not. It's not good. It's not done well.
Yeah, I would. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just
even if you were to play, like, I understand you can't judge fighting games back then by how they are now and how the advancements of everything, but it was crap back then. You just like the dinosaurs. That's pretty much what people did. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
That's what. Yeah,
As in, so I'm not even gonna go in order from the list. Biofreaks. Biofreaks is trash. Now, Biofreaks had one of the worst last bosses that has ever been invented. His name was Mutilator, and he stood maybe 8 stories over you, and all of those 8 stories mattered because he could swing his arm 3 times and you died. He had shields so he can block your projectiles, and you were on a platform that was in the middle of an ocean that had robotic piranhas in it that shot homing missiles at you while you were fighting this thing. Now there's only one fucking character who can win. And it was the main character. He had one move. That's the only move he can do to fight this. I don't see how anyone else could beat this. This game fucking sucks and I hate it. And I wish they made another one. Yep.
Jesus. You wish they made another one. You want to play another one? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's funny because I just really don't remember. I remember seeing. I'm looking at the picture, and I remember seeing this in like the walls of like Roadrunner Video and Blockbuster, and like I know I probably rented it at some point, but I think it was so bad that I just blocked it from my memory. I don't remember
Yeah.
how the game works or what it looks like.
It was bad. You had instant
I trust your
kills.
judgment.
They had instant kills where you could kill somebody at the very beginning of the match, but it didn't work on Mutilator, the only person that you would want to do it to. It didn't work on him because you would just be cutting his foot, and then he would step on you and you die. It was fucking stupid. Is the worst last. I remember Maximilian Dude was fighting Violator on stream, and he fought him for like a fucking hour. like,
Oh my
it
god.
is just ridiculous, dude. Anyways, our last game is a story of great concept and poor execution. It's Air Guys, a game that has both Cloud and Sephiroth in a fighting game. Now, I know what you're saying. How could have this been bad? Well, you, like you You don't know.
You should play it. Then you will
Play it.
see.
Play it.
I believe it also had like I don't know if you could play as it or it was just like because they had like a mode where you're like fight. It's like a story mode where you're running around like you're fighting other enemies,
Yeah.
and they had the dog things from Final Fantasy VII, like I forget what they're called. They're like Shinra dogs. They
Oh
had
yeah.
like whip tails.
And
Like
you had to
I
fight
remember
them.
that part when
Like the whole thing was like they made up these story levels to play as far as like the story mode and everything like that. And I can't really remember them because they were all poorly programmed and bad. And you would like I remember you had to fight these dogs, but the dogs would just gang fuck you, and
yeah,
you
you
couldn't
can't
really.
really attack them.
You can't really attack them. You would just be in the corner going hoping that you can hit the last boss before they killed you. And guys, it was like it's like Power Stone is if Power Stone decided to do everything wrong.
Yeah, that would have been a good one to put on the list.
Oh my
Didn't think about
God,
that.
Power Stone! I love Power Stone. Like
Yeah,
this
that would
this
have definitely been a mere
this
mortal or contender for
yeah,
sure.
this is super
But yeah,
puncher.
unfortunately, as much as I love Final Fantasy, that they couldn't save that game. Like, it just couldn't.
Yeah,
But
now I'll tell you what the mentions of the games that didn't come here. There's a game called Milty Blood where you're a bunch of vampire girls fighting each other. That's really good. That would have been a champion. Power Stone, definitely. Power Stone 2. God. If they said there was a Power
yeah, that
Stone
game was.
3, I would just throw my wallet at them and say, you put that in my hand right now.
I agree. I would like really like. There's so many franchises like that need to be rebooted. I don't know what they're
Yeah.
doing, what they're thinking. I know it's not a fighting game, but like Onimusha, for love of God, just make a new
Dude,
thing. Do it.
you remember they had Onimusha Blade Warriors and it was like a Smash Brothers like party game,
Yeah, that
right?
game was fun, dude. I actually enjoyed that
Yeah.
game. That was pretty fun.
I love that
But
game. That was a great game. And I have to
yeah,
agree, Randall, like it had a lot of potential. Like like but like guys just poor execution killed that franchise because Square killed it. And then Power Stone, you may have heard mixed things of Power Stone 2. I'm sorry, man. That game was just it's fucking great, dude. I
yeah,
can't
it's really good. The
I,
second one was top tier, but I think it was only on Dreamcast. That's why a lot of people
yeah.
didn't really play it because it
It
was
was only
only
on
available on Dreamcast.
Yep. And like I don't know, man, why Capcom doesn't go back to it. That's their like that's a party franchise they could have just like Smash Brothers. Is it y'all ever played the
Oh,
Inuyasha arcade style fighter on
dude,
PS1?
I
Oh yeah, that's
I
just
think I think I still have that, Randall, because you let me
mm,
borrow it, and like I mean, when I was in high school, but I'm pretty sure I still have it laying around somewhere. Like I'm not
uh,
even joking.
well
Yeah, that game is really fun.
I'm gonna say this. Every Bandai fighting game before Dragon Ball Fighters is trash. Besides Gundam Versus.
Oh,
like,
dang it!
every other
There's a
one.
hot take for you.
That's a hot take for you right there. Like almost every Bandai fighting game is just so bad. They're so they're so motherfucking overgeneralized. Like everybody's got the same damn moves. Like and it is dude, everyone's got there's a super button. There's a fucking super button. Get out of here with that crap. Like it's so bad. Everything they do is so bad. And the thing that kills me is that Bandai has some of the best anime franchises ever to make fighting games with. They have freaking Bleach, Naruto, One Piece, Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail is just made to fight itself.
Yeah, it would be a
Like
good. It would be a good. I mean, I don't know. I know they have fairy tale games out there,
they
but I
suck.
just
They
I
suck.
haven't played them.
They're horrible. They're fucking horrible.
I, I'm gonna take your word for it on that one.
They're trash. They made an RPG and it's trash, dude. Like Naruto, I love Ninja Storm 1, but even I have to admit it was just not good. It was just not. Like like it's I wish Bandai would give all their fighting franchises to Arc Systems and Capcom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Well, doesn't did Bandai make Fighter Z? I thought Arc Systems worked on that with them. I thought
Yeah,
that was a
well
collaboration.
Bandai owns the license. They let Arc System make it. But
Okay, yeah, yeah.
but
I'm looking at the
Bandai
case
owns the
right now.
license to almost every shonen anime you've ever seen or liked. They own almost all of them. So, and they own Inuyasha. So I don't know. Maybe they'll get a good one. But that is the end of our fighter list. This is the tier list. It's looking a lot more balanced now that we added all the butt trash at the bottom. Like, you know.
I tried to mix that up. It was just like, let's get all the good stuff out of the way, and then let's just laugh our asses off at the. Oh god,
These
that
are
was
the only,
fun.
yeah, I like this. I like this. I know John, when he gets back, he wanted to do shooters, and then I want to do RPGs. I'm gonna be real with you. RPGs is not gonna be fun because me and John have not played that many. I played,
Yeah, that
a,
I'd be carrying that one.
yeah, I played a good amount. My 9-year-old in the background says you forgot Brawlhalla. Brawlhalla. You know what? Brawlhalla is a good game. Like it really is. It is honestly a decent game. It's just that one of those games where it's kind of like everybody plays the same. So it gets a little like it's like there's not a lot of variety in the characters, but it's fun. They have a lot of weird guest characters like Brick and Morty and crap like that.
Really, they're in that game?
I think so. Brawlhalla has a lot of
What?
like weird guest
I've
characters.
heard about this Brawlhalla this Brawlhalla business, but I haven't actually. I
Yeah, it's a
don't think I've
Smash
actually
Brothers
played it. I think
clone.
it's free to download, isn't it?
Yep, it's free. You can get on it for free. It's a lot of microtransactions, and the thing is, it's like it's fun. It's a good fun, kind of Smash Brothers like game. It is.
Yeah.
So I admit Brawlhalla is pretty good. There's a lot of other fighters. Like the Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. It's decent. Like
Yeah. I have that on the Xbox. It's okay.
yeah, it's okay.
um,
You know.
the storylines actually like they somehow were managed to like take the whatever the hell's going on in Power Rangers right now because I stopped um you know holding or keeping up with it, but
uh, I mean, I'm sure
it seemed like they did a pretty good job. It's like kind of more adult themed than I would think,
Well, they got to
but
come sometime. All the people that watch Power Rangers are old now. Listen, it's absolutely riddled with microtransaction. Yeah, like almost every fighting game is riddled with
oh,
microtransaction these
it
days.
has Adventure Time and Steven Universe characters. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
but like I noticed a lot of fighting. Like all those top games right there now have like too many like DLC buys and all that
Yeah,
stuff. Like it's just it kind of ruins it because back in the day, remember when you play a fighting game and you would just unlock all the characters? Like that was the fun of playing, unlocking the
yeah.
characters. And now, oh here, you can have all the characters, and if you want the other ones, you got to buy them. And it's like, why should I play this? Why do I need to beat this? Well, like
I
it's
thought that was the genius move in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. A lot of
yeah.
people, it had mixed reviews of the concept, but like you start off with just the original Smash Brothers cast, like from the original 64 game, and
Mm.
then you have to unlock all the characters by playing, and like, but it gives you incentive to play. Like I unlocked all the characters pretty quickly just it's an awesome game, so I played it, and like
Yeah.
every match a new character would pop up.
Yeah, and it's that constant like you feel like you're unlocking something, you feel like you're doing something. It was like, oh, Randy said if we do an RPG episode, Randall's gonna be in there like that cat typing meme. You know how the typing meme where the cat's just banging the keyboard? That's Randall. He's just it's like no Grandia was like I'm gonna be like oh
Oh, I
god
think
damn.
he's going to be talking more about like Crusader Kings and Final Fantasy Tactics
Uh,
and
and RPGs are
XCOM and
they're kind of wide because you got all the things from Final Fantasy to Skyrim, and that's a wide margin. You get like
yeah.
that's a lot of wide margin. But anyways, we've met our time today. I'm glad everybody who came out, Randall for being in the conversation, and everybody else who was just stood by and watched. Thanks for coming out, man. And me
Oh
and
yeah.
Matt.
Hey, shout out to Alex if he's still listening. He
Uh,
mentioned something earlier. I'd love to jump in on a stream with you with you guys. Just get at me and let me know.
yeah, for real.
I'll contact him. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's been a pleasure, man. Thanks for having me. A lot of fun. Just let me know next time. I'll be more than happy to jump in if I'm free.
All right, John's apologized for not making it, but he'd like to also wish you and everybody in Two Def a good night. Thanks for coming out to the stream. Please hit us up on YouTube. What's it called? Twitter, Facebook,
All your
Twitch.
social media stuff.
Yeah, all the social medias, Discord, things like that. and just stay up with Two Death. This is entertaining. You were also very entertaining, Randall. I have to say that you kept the conversation going. So, with that being said, thank you for the night, Two Death.
Too dead.